Hello, it is towards the end of March 2023. I wanted to record another deck review video of a deck that I really like. I've been playing a lot of Mech Knights, I've been playing a lot of Crusadia, and I want to definitely record more of these videos because I think there's a lot of fantastic decks out right now that can get you to King of Games or provide kind of a fun twist on things that you might be playing. And with that, I want to jump in. There's a lot of ways to play elemental hero decks right now. I'm sure you've seen many, but this is one that I really, really like. So using the ability Hero Alliance, this one is going to be just a pure fusion deck, right? Elemental Hero's name in the game is fusion. A lot of ways to get it out. So we do have four fusion cards in here. But the ability where if you bring an Elemental Hero Neos out to the field, you can take a fusion cards from outside the deck as well. So really, really powerful there. So I'll walk through the strengths and the weaknesses, and you can make your own judgment. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments below. But the first thing that really stands out to me is you can get very powerful monsters on the field without using monster effects. So if we think of the meta right now with, let's say, Phantom Knights. So let's say we go second, our opponent gets a Requiem Dragon out in the field. We know we can't use a monster effect or else it can counter it and destroy that card. So we need a deck that's going to be able to do that, and this is it. All of these fusion cards, again, don't require monster effects, and a lot of the fusion monsters are pretty powerful without even activating their effects, especially how they kind of play off each other and can get like attack point boost many times without that. So that is the first thing. Now with that, it can also deal with powerful opponents. So partially because of the attack power of the monsters, partially because of the effects of a lot of the fusion monsters, partially because of the kind of non-fusion cards we have. So Book of Moon, we two of those. We have an Ice Dragon's Prison, two Crackdowns. Doesn't mean you can't set that up a little bit differently. But the other thing I want to mention is we have a Super Polymerization. Very, very strong quick play card. Obviously can be used on your opponent's turn. And the way that the extra deck is set up is there's different monsters of each archetype, or attribute, excuse me, that can be used from your opponent's side of the field. So if you were to end your turn with an Elemental Hero Neos on the field and Super Polymerization face down, you can steal pretty much any card your opponent has and use fusion with it. So really, really creative way to just get rid of a problematic monster. Now it is very flexible. It is not like a deck that there's only one way to play it. I keep going back to Phantom Knights, but anytime you've played it lately, there's one way it's getting played. Bring out the monsters, and then you bring out the Break Sword, and then it's destroyed, and then it brings back the monsters, and then it exceeds summons, keeping going, rank up, and so on. It feels very stale to me, very repetitive, and if you're going to play it for 100 duels during the KC Cup, you're going to get pretty bored. This is the exact opposite. Depending on what you draw, depending on what's already on the field, very, very flexible to set up your board, and I think that makes it fun. I think that's the word I want to use a lot here, is fun. It is a fun deck to play. And I will say it's more of an offensive deck than a defensive deck. The monster effects kind of play to that, where there's a lot of attacking going on. And it's very deep, right? So if you get one of your powerful monsters on the field and then it gets destroyed, you're not done. You're not going to lose the duel because of that. You have many opportunities to get monsters out, and also you can get multiple monsters out, very powerful fusion monsters within the same turn, 2, possibly 3, or even more at times. So you can win the duel in essentially one turn and just have an all-out onslaught very quickly. I would say those are the strengths. Definitely test the deck out. Let me know what you think, but I also want to jump into the weaknesses. So like I said, I think it's more of an offensive deck than a defensive deck, and that is kind of reflected in the weaknesses, where the monsters themselves do not have a ton of protection. They don't, they can't stop monster effects or negate anything for spell or traps or anything like that. So the spells and traps outside of the fusion cards that I have in here are essentially working towards that point of, protection. So you have the Book of Moons, again, Ice Dragon's Prison, Crackdown. So if you're dealing with a Requiem Dragon, you can Book a Moon very easily. Crackdown works really well against it. And again, not to keep naming the cards there, but some flexibility, but I will say protection is not the strong suit by any means. With that, there's not a ton of disruption. So your opponent can do what they want. It's just whether or not it's strong enough to break through this setup that you have. And I think this is a necessary add because it can be true of any deck, but it's not like a top tier deck for consistency. You're gonna get turns where you're for open a duel where you're gonna have like one monster and a bunch of spells and traps that you can't activate a fusion card and can't really start chaining things. So I don't think it's so often that it's like truly problematic to the viability of the deck where you shouldn't use it, but it's not like another deck like Six Samurais, for example, where you're every single game pretty much going to have an opening hand that you can play with and get in the position you're looking for. But overall, this is a very fun deck, a very powerful deck, especially if we look at Sunrise in the extra deck here, where you can destroy a card before even attacking when you have another elemental hero monster attacking. So very, very powerful and, again, fun. So let me know what you think of this deck. Definitely try it out. You can put your own twist on it, and hopefully this has been helpful.